Man, we used to get down. Want to come hang out, Bubba? You want to come say hi? You want to come say hi, Bubba? Such a pussy. He just does not come over here whenever I stream. I don't know what it is. Whenever the streaming starts, he's out. Good morning, boys and girls. How are we doing this fine morning? I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Again, I've been feeling so rejuvenated lately. Been feeling so good. And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of it has to do with the playoffs being here. He can detect psyops in your camera. It's just the weirdest thing. I can sit over here and talk on the phone. He'll come over and quite frankly annoy the shit out of me, but I love it. I don't game very much, but I can come over here and game and talk on the game with my friends, and he'll come over here and again annoy me, but I do love it. The moment I stream, he's fucking out of here. My morning is going terrible. It's 10:45 and I've walked 13,000 steps. What's terrible about that? Just putting work in. What's terrible about that? I got a really funny text from my mom this morning. Just like a classic mom/grandma text. All right, my son. What is ChatGPT? W mom. Yeah, she's the best. I just thought it was funny. It was like, because, you know, my mom's pretty young, like all things considered. So she's in the know on pretty much most things. This one was like the first time where I was like, okay. I was like, okay, grandma. Defense wins playing games. Hell yeah. A1 is the future. Is that a different one? Look, I think I've said it before. I think ChatGPT is cool. I've used it in past jobs. I really don't give a shit. I know it might be like looked at as the wrong way. It made my job a million times easier, so I fucking did it. Um, absolutely. That's I will say this. You know, I don't like since I've left my job, I haven't used it at all. I've used it every now and then to like maybe try and help out with research for stuff. It's usually wrong on that front. I still think it has a long ways to go there. Like I was just like earlier this year, I was messing around with it. And I just wanted to see how accurate it was. So I did like it has the deep dive research thing, and I asked it to do a deep dive on the Mavericks season last year, and it just straight up got shit wrong. Like it just like straight up was incorrect about half of the things it said. But I mean, you're burying your head in the sand if you don't think AI is the future of everything that's going to happen in the next like 100 years. Seriously, you are. I've crazy how you doubted the Mavericks. They're winning it all. Got to double check the results, but it's super useful for sure. The one thing about the deep research tool that was pretty cool was that it gave you like sources like a Wikipedia article almost. And that was cool. Future or doom? Well, yeah, either way though, I mean, it is the future of pretty much everything. And I don't know about the chat GP. I don't know about AI art. Like, you're kind of burying your head in the sand if you don't think it's gotten leaps and bounds better. Like the videos, it's scary how much better it's gotten because it's going to continue to get better. But there is something about it that just feels, and it'll be an interesting little test. Can you can almost just clock AI art immediately because it lacks something. Even when they have it to where it looks like something human, it just lacks something. It lacks something. Something to think about. People are using AI art in games and having them sell well. Oh, I mean, AI art's gonna be in video games. It's gonna be in movies the next decade. I mean, that's happening. Like that's happening. They're gonna use AI tools to help them with certain things that otherwise would take them so long. Like it's gonna happen. In fact, it's already been happening. Not no more. It's unrecognizable now. I seen render of college kids that looked real. I mean, you already had the Sixers. The Sixers apparently are making moves based off of AI. The Sixers are already making moves based off of AI. Wasn't that them? Wasn't that them? AI will have everyone's job displaced in no time, and then we'll all be on universal basic income. Well, I think in a perfect world, the progress of automation would make it to where we don't have to do shit that otherwise would take us a really long time, and we can just focus on doing other stuff. I mean, that's the funny joke people are saying about AI, where it's like AI is supposed to do all of the shit we don't want to do, and then we can make art. Like we don't have to worry about working anymore because robots do it for us, and we can just do art stuff, just be human beings. But it's like doing the opposite. And yeah, I don't think UBI is something that you could ever realistically expect. Something you could ever realistically expect. Let's get down to business. So last night we simulcasted on YouTube. I think it went over pretty well, actually. Again, the streams are going to I think it went over pretty smoothly. If you want to watch the VODs, those are member only. That's member only. If you guys want to watch the VODs, they're available on a playlist here. But during the streams, when the streams are live, anyone can watch them. It's just the moment that they are over, I do make them member only just because, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then you can go to the Slightly Biased Clips channel if you want to see just the clipped highlights of those streams. I think it's going over pretty swimmingly. Was yesterday the first time you streamed on YouTube again? Yeah, games since last playoffs. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously much different, but I think it went over pretty well. I've never seen a woman in here. Really? There's women in here. There's quite a few, actually. I would say like probably just a little disproportionate to other sports channels. Because, like we like to say, we love women here. We love women. Lubbock, Texas. Ratio isn't great. Well, it's a sports channel. Okay, it's a sports channel. I can't pause playback, so I've never watched since you're ahead. Yeah, so that'll help out quite a lot of people. That Lubbock pool was insane last night. I'm telling you, man, there's just something about it. You can almost taste the fucking dust in your mouth. Like when you see a picture of Lubbock, you can almost taste the dust. Your eyes kind of start to get dry. You can sort of smell the shit, if I must, in the air. First off, I just want to say Happy International Women's Day. Lee Corso retiring? I didn't know he wasn't retired. How old is he? I honestly didn't know he was still active. I saw the exploding manholes that were the color green. I mean, Lubbock's got, whenever I was there at Tech, the fucking sewage system broke in the library, and the library got flooded. It's quite the place, man. And they used to call it the Hub City. And whenever I first moved there, I thought it was called the Hub City. You want to know why? And I actually did think this stupid ass assumption, but I thought they called it the Hub City because there were so many like tire cap hubs or whatever they're called. Hubcap. There were so many hubcaps littering like the side of the road and shit because it is pretty gross. That's literally what I thought they called it. Tell your best Broadway story from Lubbock. I usually never really went to Broadway, honestly. Mainly went. What are they? Is it Main Street? Is that what it is? Why is it actually called that? It's called the Hub City because it's like the only, from what I understand, it's like an agricultural hub. It's like the only somewhat big city within like 200 miles. University in Broadway. University, yeah. I usually hung out there. Went to conference was gone by the time I went there. I think conference was there for 1 year. Piece of shit place. Literally the most disgusting place I've ever been. Sludge up to your ankles at that disgusting place. But yeah, Chimmy's, which I always thought was a little overrated. Chimmy's, Bar PM. What was the other one? Crickets. Crickets was a big one. Crickets was a big one. And then they turned conference into something else. What was it called? Conference got turned into something else. Like it was the same people. Was it Miguel's? I don't think it was Miguel's. It was called something else, and they did like Penny Pint Night. Anyways. No, the place, they tore the building down, but I'm saying the owners bought something else. No, not Beer House. That wasn't around until I left. I think Beer House opened like the year I left or something like that. And I never went there. Bashes or some shit like that. That's what it is. That's what it was. That's what it was. Right, I used to go to this place called Charlie B's. It was a country dance bar that from 4 to 7 p.m. every night, or maybe it was even later than that, but I think it was 4 to 7 p.m. No, it wasn't. It was like 6 to 10 p.m. You pay $5 to get in. Every drink is a quarter. So do the math. Used to go there pregame and leave. And I got drugged once. Have I ever told you guys this story? I absolutely got drugged in Lubbock. Absolutely 100%. No two ways around it. It happened to me. At a bar, and I can't believe Lubbock is a one of one place in this country. At a bar, I was on an intramural softball team, co-ed softball team, right? So half boys, half girls. We played on Mondays. We went to this karaoke bar, and usually I'm not like, the moment we leave like the campus area in Lubbock, I was usually out on that equation. But we went to this karaoke bar, and I'm being dead serious when I say the name of the bar was Adolph's. The name of the fucking bar was Adolph's. But we went, there's karaoke. Okay, we're in there. We're by far the only college age kids there. It's like all 50-year-old bikers. You know, probably. I mean, I'm just assuming, probably Nazis. Right, because we're at a bar called Adolph. It was strange, but okay, whatever. We're in there, and, you know, we're hanging out. There's like 4 guys, 4 girls, you know. And someone bought us drinks. Like the bartender come over and go, oh, that table over there bought you guys drinks. I woke up in my closet. That was it. Like I woke up, and I was the only one. But I hadn't even drank before that. I was like the only one of the group, so I must have took someone else's drink. I just woke up in my closet, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, couldn't remember anything. And I was like, what the hell happened last night? People were like, what do you mean? And I was like, dude, I don't remember anything. They're like, really? I was like, yeah. They're like, it wasn't even that, like, we weren't drunk or anything, really. And I was like, I can't remember a single thing that happened. No sore butt cheeks, thankfully. Thankfully. You saw both kidneys? Yeah, I do. Pike got kicked off for spiking again. Pike. Greek life is so funny. Pike. Least surprising night at Adolph's. Yeah, and that was it, too. I was like, well, guys, if you ever needed another reason to not go to a bar named Adolph's, you have another one just now. Do you ever think if you bought the Sure, Luka would have been traded? The Sure? What's the Sure? If you never bought the Sure. Oh, my mic. Maybe that changed things. Weren't you going to support Arsenal? I do support Arsenal. Great win for our lads yesterday. Come on, lads. Come on, you Gooners. Come on, you Gunners. Shout out to Adolph's. No. Don't put that in here because people might see that and not understand what you're saying. Also, just probably for the best to not say something like that at any point. But yes, it was a hold on a second. It was a bar called Adolph's, and it went about as exactly as you probably could have expected. You still playing Rivals at all? I've played a little bit so far this season. I've been stupid busy. But I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate my PlayStation into my PlayStation into playback if possible. Squiggly with the 5, because that could be like a, hey, this game's out of control. Maybe a quick little marbles game. That happened to me and a buddy on deployment before. Luckily, another sailor saw it being dragged out and stopped whoever was taking us. Crazy. Yeah, it happens to men too, man. It can happen to men. Just be careful, I would say. Be careful. Always be a little, random people buy you drinks. You never know, man. You just never know. You never know. Here we go. Let's lock in. For an extra challenge, turn on hard mode? No thanks. I don't need an extra challenge in this game. I promise you that. Hate is gonna hate. I'm just gonna shake it off. Stoop. Is this a stupid guess? 2 O's and a P. I don't give it. I don't care. Oh my God. Okay. Man, I've kind of been locked in on this game. Honestly. I've kind of been locked in. Midriff. They've seen pictures of me. Core, midriff almost have to be together. Torso. Core, midriff, torso. Trunk? No. Oh, 6-pack. Huh? What? Toppings, sauce, cheese, crust, pizza. Boom. Easy. Oh, look, it's slightly biased. Young, 6-pack. Bonds. As it like Barry Bonds. That's how I hit. Growler. I also growl quite a bit. Slightly biased. What? Wait a second. Mike Trout, Mickey Mantle, Barry Bonds. Young? Barry Bonds, Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout, Cy Young. I mean, baseball grades. Okay, Cy Young's an interesting inclusion. If I'm assuming that's Michael Young could be. Oh, wait a second. A case, 6-pack, a 40, a growler. Units of beer. Okay, I'm going to be real. What the fuck's a growler? Wow, I dominated today. Central section of the body. Okay, what's a growler? I've never heard of a growler. Oh, these things? The little jugs? Okay. I mean, what a like domination of the New York Times games. Absolute evisceration. Do the mini? No. We're only going to do 2 games because sometimes it takes me a while. Sometimes it's not that fast. I've heard people describe thighs as tree trunks. Yes, those are my thighs, but yeah. I dominated New York. Absolutely. All right, let's get down to business. We are doing our first round predictions today. It's made for the leftist libs, so it has to be easy. Do your NFL mock draft on PFF. This one wasn't made for the leftist libs. Units of beer. A growler. If you know what a growler is, you're not a leftist. Good morning, folks. It is Wednesday, and by Wednesday, I mean Thursday, April 17th, 2025, 11:07 a.m. We've got a big development in the city of Dallas. Nico was right. So we have that to sort of sit down and process and deal with as a collective. We're doing our first round predictions today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the games that went on last night. Of course, we have a couple of games tomorrow night as well. And it's exciting times, man. It's exciting times. How can you not be excited about the playoffs, the postseason? It's the best thing in the world. All right, let's start with the Heat and the Bulls game, which I do have to be honest with you. I was cooking / eating / preparing for the Mavs stream. So the moment I saw the Heat pull away a little bit in this game, thanks due in large part to Tyler Hero. I was listening to some podcast, and they threw out like a Tyler Hero 40-point bet, and they were like, "Yeah, the odds are small, but I guess the odds are big, but it could happen." And well, he got 38 points. I mean, he's had an incredible season. But the Chicago Bulls season comes to a merciful end. They get absolutely steamrolled by the Miami Heat. You saw your concerns about Giddey in postseason playoff matchups. Really, the big story, Patrick Williams had 0 points. This guy actually might be the worst contract in the league currently. I think it's up there. I think it's up for debate. If you were to take out like the big contracts, the Beals, the max contracts, whatever it could be, Patrick Williams, I think, probably has the worst contract in the league. Because I think the Nuggets could throw Zeke Naji into a big trade and it could happen, right? I think if the Bulls wanted like a big trade and we need to combine salary and Patrick Williams involved, I need like extra on top of whatever else you're giving me to take on Patrick Williams. The worst contract is Beal. Yeah, but I'm saying like the non-max guys. The non-max contracts. Patrick Williams, disgusting contract, is high up there. This was year one. This year was year one of a 5-year, $18 million per year deal with a player option on the 5th year. Horrible. For a guy who like genuinely is not in the rotation of some teams. Is probably not in the rotation of some teams that are trying to compete. Because I constantly see people who are like, well, if he's on a good team, does he kind of like, if some team took a chance on Patrick Williams and he became a role guy, like he is a role guy on this fucking team, and he's terrible. The PJ Washington situation was different because it was like, oh, PJ's like, you watch PJ, it's like, this guy's got something. This guy's got juice. Patrick Williams has no juice. Patrick Williams is making $18 million a year because he kind of, sort of, if you squint and if you have maybe lost a sight in one eye, and maybe you've also fell in the morning and you're a little hazy, squint, and sometimes he moves and you're like, damn, that kind of looks like Kawhi Leonard. And that's it. That's why he's making $18 million a year. Shout out to his agency for getting that deal, and shout out to him. But that's about as bad of a contract as you could get. I do think this year we will see for the first time this year, we will see a 10 seed make the playoffs. It hasn't happened since the play-in tournament has been introduced, a 10 seed. The Heat are a 10 seed. I think they got a great chance of beating the Atlanta Hawks, and the Mavs are a 10 seed, and we'll talk about them here in a bit. I think they've got a great chance of beating the Memphis Grizzlies. I actually really do. I really, really do. So the Bulls lose. They get blown out. Their season comes to a merciful end, as I mentioned. Let's get into the Kings-Mavs game a little bit. I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I do have a Bleach Report stream today at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time to talk about the Mavs, so I don't want to repeat all of the same shit like 4 different times over the course of 24 hours. But I want to talk briefly about this. Kenny Beecham, friend of the show, noted Bulls supporter, posed this question earlier this morning. Both of these teams lost last night. The Kings, the Bulls, their season ends. Which organization has it better right now? Bulls or the Sacramento Kings? To me, this answer was easy, and most people seem to agree. The answer was easily the Chicago Bulls. Okay? The Sacramento Kings, we call them the baffling Kings. They're so bad. Their pick situation moving forward is a little strange. Now, they did get some picks in return for De'Aaron Fox. It wasn't as good as maybe you would have hoped, right? They got a 2025 protected pick from Charlotte this year, 1 through 14. Well, let me tell you something about the Charlotte Hornets. They're fucking terrible. And so that pick's not conveying. I believe that pick's going to turn into multiple second-round picks at a certain point. Am I wrong in thinking that? I'm trying to bring up, what's the best website to look at future picks? It's Real GM, isn't it? Kings can, the GM, yes. And the moment the game, I mean, genuinely, like 10 minutes after the game ended, it was announced that they were moving on from Monte McNair. He moves on. Then, of course, I saw this morning, you've got the classic reporting after the guy gets fired. McNair was like, dude, I didn't want to fire Mike Brown. I didn't want to fire him. Why is there so many Mikes that are coaching in the NBA? I'm just not thinking about this because we've got Mike Brown. I like Mike. Mike Budenholzer. Mike Malone. So many Mikes. It's like a disproportionate number of Mikes. Someone needs to look into that. Disproportionate number of Mikes coaching in the NBA. Somebody needs to look into that. So they owe Atlanta their first round pick this year. Okay, it's 1 through 12 protected. I think where are they at right now in terms of their odds? I think that they're outside of that. I think they're 13th or 14th. They're 14th currently. So they're gonna hand over that pick more than likely to. And these things can change depending on who wins these last games. But they're more than likely going to hand a pick just outside the top 12 to the Atlanta Hawks this year. 97% chance that pick lands at 14. So that sucks. They do owe a first-round pick swap in 2031. But outside of that, they don't have their pick this year in this draft. They have this shitty-ass Charlotte Hornets 2025 first-round pick that's 1 through 14 protected. If it falls within its protected range and is therefore not conveyed, then Charlotte will instead convey its 2026 second-rounder and 2027 second-rounder. So they're getting 2 second-rounders from Charlotte. That's nothing. 2027 first-round pick from San Antonio in the De'Aaron Fox trade. More than likely, I would say a couple of seasons from now, that pick will probably not be very good. They'll not be very good. And a 2031 first-round pick from Minnesota that they also got in the De'Aaron Fox trade, which, who knows? That one could be pretty good. But their pick situation isn't great. They don't even have their pick this year. Now, they do have their first-round picks moving forward, assuming they don't move up in the lottery. So there's a pathway for them to, especially after this season, trade off Sabonis, see if somebody wants Zach LaVine, see if somebody would take DeMar DeRozan, tear this shit to the ground, right? The Atlanta Hawks, the San Antonio Spurs have the Atlanta Hawks pick this year. Oh, wait, we're talking about the Bulls. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? The Bulls, what is their pick situation looking like? Surely they haven't sent out any first-round picks. No. But they don't really have any first-round picks. They have a lottery-protected pick from Portland, which is not going to convey. Protected in 2026, protected in 2027, protected in 2028, lottery protected all the way through there. Then it turns into a 2028 second-round pick. Do we think that Portland makes the playoffs in the next 4 or 5 years? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say why not? I'd say why not? So they'll get a first round pick from Portland at some point, right? And then they're in complete and total control of their draft for the next, however many years. They don't really have any picks coming in, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's so confusing how the Bulls operate in this manner, where they refuse to get draft picks. It makes no sense. But I think I'd rather be the Bulls than the Kings. In fact, I'd much rather be the Bulls than the Kings, only because I've got some young guys on my roster I feel pretty good about. Like Giddey, you're probably going to have to pay a pretty penny, but I think Giddey's been good enough over the last few months that I'm okay with that if I'm a team like Chicago, to be honest with you. I'm pretty pumped up about Matas Bazulis. Like, I think he's been really solid for a rookie, and he does things at his size, that things with the ball in his hands. He's skilled, right? Ability to get to the rim. He does stuff where you're like, all right, that's pretty exciting. Kobe White's obviously been fantastic over the last 2 seasons. Wasn't great last night, but had a great last couple of months. Was really good last year. All right, I could talk myself into that. And then on top of that, I got all of my picks if I want to trade. And I do have guys on my roster that if I wanted to, I could probably flip for some picks. But then on the other hand, I could see, I'm a GM. Hey, I'm being hired. Do whatever the fuck you want. Nico Harrison style. Okay, if I'm the Kings, I don't have my pick this year. But I do have my picks moving forward. So I could probably get a decent return for Sabonis. I could maybe get something for DeRozan. What do you guys think DeRozan's worth? Anything? I could almost certainly get a pick for Malik Monk from somebody. Keegan Murray, I could probably get some stuff for. I'm literally tearing it down to the studs. I don't think that there's any. I honestly, looking from the outside in on this Kings roster, I don't think that there's anything that I'd want, if I were a GM, that I'd want to build around. Personally, nothing really sticks out to me as exciting. Even Keegan Murray doesn't stick out to me very much, especially with the contract that he has now. There's not a lot of things that stick out to me. He's still solid enough. I bet DeMar's worth a first. I guess my question is, like, I think I agree with you, but it turns into who's giving that up? The contract that Keegan Murray is going to sign. Like, who's going to give up the first for DeRozan? I think his skills and maybe just his raw production, you look at it and you're like, that's worth a pick. Golden State is the DeMar team when they lose in 5 to Houston. Ugh, I can't see Golden. Well, I mean, what are they? They're just not going to shoot ever. They're just not going to shoot threes. Steph, DeMar, Butler, Draymond, Gary Payton, all on the floor at the same time. Miami? I don't think Miami wants to do that. They've made their position pretty clear. We want to have money for the 2026 free agency class. DeRozan bleeds into that. And I don't think DeRozan's the guy that they would go into the offseason not having money for, right? KD, yeah, I could see them doing that. DeRozan, no. DeRozan back to Toronto. You see what I'm saying? Like, you go down this list of teams, and I guess all it takes is one desperate team, one GM who's like, dude, I think I'm going to lose my job. I think I'm going to lose my job if we don't win or do something soon. DeRozan maybe gets me across the finish line. And that's probably not going to be true, but it's just somebody who thinks like that. So, Nico, I actually wouldn't say it's impossible. $24 million next year. If the Mavs strike out on a lot of their potential, like, ball handling options, I wouldn't say that it's impossible. I still feel like, oh man, I was just about to say, I feel like Levine's on the table for the Mavs. I really do. But $47 million, there's just no fucking way. I mean, at that point, you go for KD, right? At that point, you go and get Kevin Durant. $47 million. An anonymous executive said that they want Nico to stay as a GM because it's always nice to have a desperate GM out there. I mean, I think Nico's job security is pretty rock solid. I don't think you let a guy trade someone like Luka if he's not there. You know, if his job's in danger, or you're kind of thinking, hey, if you guys don't win this year, we might look to go our separate ways. You don't let that guy make a move like that. You just don't. Three-team trade between us, Lakers, and Kings. DeMar and Lakers get Gafford. That sounds disgusting. I don't want DeMar DeRozan. And God bless him. I respect him as a player quite a bit. But I don't want that. I don't want any piece of that. I mean, both of these teams, now that I'm talking about it out loud, I don't think either of them are necessarily great. You know, because I think the Bulls have entered this weird phase where I talk about them and I'm like, I like Matas Pazulis and I have all of my picks, but you're going to pay Josh Giddey. You have Kobe White under contract, and he's young. He's young enough that, like, I'm not necessarily looking to just ship him off right now. Where this is like kind of who you are, you know, and you don't have a lot of assets outside of that. It's not like you have a stockpile of picks that you could trade and get the guy down the line. That's maybe essential. No, I know what you're talking. I know Tim McMahon said that. Paul at the $5. The way he poisoned the fan base. Only an idiot wouldn't be considering fire Nico. Agree with the move or not? He is a distraction. Yeah, but I'm telling you, this is like, you don't let someone make a decision like that if their job security is not pretty rock solid. That's just the reality. Arturis is also still there. Yeah, but in this scenario, right, it's like, who would you rather be? You're becoming the GM of a team. Who would you rather be? Shams bomb? The Bulls, that would be pretty funny if the Bulls and Kings were like, hey, Sabonis for, yeah, we'll do Sabonis for like Vucevic's expiring deal, maybe someone else and a pick or two. That would be funny. How do you sell that to the Kings? But I also kind of... Oh, hey, look. Speak of the Devils. The Sacramento Kings are finalizing a deal to hire longtime NBA executive Scott Perry as their new general manager. Perry spent 3 months with the Kings in 2017 before leaving for the Knicks. Perry started his exec career in 2000 with Detroit, so they're not fucking around. They're not fucking around. Pick your duo to run your expansion team. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, or Patrick Dumont, Nico Harrison. Wow. So on one hand, and bear with me when I say this, guys, because there's a clear and obvious answer here. Okay? To run my expansion team, there's a clear and obvious answer. What do you guys think that clear and obvious answer is? The clear and obvious answer is 100% Nico Harrison. And it's not even up for debate. Because think about it like this. Well, I've seen Nico Harrison build teams and put together teams that went on to make the NBA Finals. We have seen that, right? Now, if I'm an expansion team, I don't have to worry about Nico Harrison tearing things down in an effort to go out and get his guys, because it's up to him now. Like, it's a clean slate. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Go and get your guys. We're not like destroying the fan base. Yeah, the Kings are in just like I really don't know what you do. There's the ceiling of this team. They bursted through the ceiling of this team. The ceiling of this team is not a 3 seed, but they had a lucky season where they were unfathomably healthy. Remember, we kept talking about that. Unfathomably healthy compared to the rest of the Western Conference. They were the 3 seed, lost round 1, close 7-game series to the Warriors, fresh off of the Warriors winning a championship. I mean, that team wasn't as good, but fresh off of a Warriors team, fresh off of a team that won the championship. They were the 3 seed. I mean, that was well beyond their ceiling, I think. 48 win, 3 seed, yeah. And then they've been playing exits now each of the last 2 years. And you look at their roster, you've lost De'Aaron Fox, you've replaced him with Zach LaVine, and a couple of future firsts that could be interesting. I don't think that 2027 San Antonio first will be good. 2031 Timberwolves first? Yeah, maybe. You could talk yourself into any 2031 pick being good. Seriously. You could talk yourself into any 2031 from any team in the league being good. The Kings fan on Players' Choice podcast was crying so hard. Luka was first team over Fox that season. So hilarious looking back. Kings fans are in shambles, aren't they? I don't want to like shit on Kings fans because it's like, dude, they had been so bad for 20 years. And then they were good. They were the 3 seed. And yeah, I do remember. I remember the whole like, hey, why do people not think De'Aaron Fox is, who is it? Was it their owner who tweeted that? Who's like, people like De'Aaron Fox is better than Luka. I was like, all right, dude, chill out, please. Like, come on, you're only embarrassing yourself. Or it was like, I wouldn't trade De'Aaron Fox for Luka or some shit like that. I was like, okay, all right, please, calm down. But what do you do? Honestly, I mean, like, you're in such a bad spot. You got DeRozan, LaVine, Sabonis. I mean, it's just so uninspiring. But how do you sell your fan base on a hard teardown, though? You know, like, I think if I'm a Kings fan, considering everything I've been through for 20 years, I'd rather this. I'd rather this than the alternative that I've lived under for the last 30 plus years, 20 years, which is horrible. They gotta shut down the beam. I'll tell you that. They've got to shut down the beam. Get rid of the beam. The beam's got to go. It was a fun little gimmick for a while. We've been embarrassing now. It's time to go. The beam's gone. The beam is retired. I'm a Kings fan rooting for tanking. Please, no more purgatory. I think that's like a hard sell for the general fan. It's like, oh, the Kings are going to be shit again for the next 4 years. Okay, great. And then what? That 4 years is going to turn into 10 pretty quickly. Okay. As long as that moron is owning their team, they'll never be relevant. Yeah, and they've got a pretty shitty owner situation. We've talked about this before where his daughter is behind the scenes running things with Jeremy Lamb. It sounds very messy. So I think I'd rather be the Bulls, all things considered. But we talked out the Bulls, and they're in this weird spot where, well, I can't go all out for being bad next year for a really high pick, the chance at a high pick, because I'm talented enough now to just kind of be a middling team in the East, which is what we've been for years. And I don't have like any real draft assets to go out and get better. But there's one thing about Chicago, though. Is that you are still the Chicago Bulls. So if you do turn it around, if you do position yourself to like, hey guys, we lucked out in the draft, we got this guy, or this player's become much better than we ever could have anticipated, like Matas Bazulis. Like we're competitive and we're Chicago. Like people might want to come here at some point. People might want to play for this franchise. People might want to, you know what, I can go over there and help the Chicago Bulls win. Like the Chicago Bulls, a legendary franchise. Kobe White will get moved this offseason. Having Giddey and Bazulis is a good start. If they could flip, like if they could get a team with a lot of assets or a very desperate team to bend over backwards for Kobe White, I would probably do it if I were them. I think with 1 year left on his deal, you could find a suitor for Vucevic. Like I think absolutely you could find a team who could talk themselves into 1 year of Vucevic. $21 million expiring. Some team could do that. And then you move forward, but then you're hamstrung by this Patrick Williams contract. Modern NBA in a nutshell, choose De'Aaron over Halliburton only to have Clutch fuck them over like they just did Dallas. Yeah, and let's not forget that Halliburton was like pretty publicly like, I want to go to Sacramento. I want to go to the Kings. That's a toughie, man. That's a toughie. I want Kobe White so bad. He would be perfect for us while Kai's hurt. Yeah, Kobe White would be interesting for the Mavs. But again, I feel like Kobe White's price tag becomes weird. There is a slightly biased Discord chat. I haven't been in there, so I haven't opened up Discord in so long. I don't know what's going on in there. Maybe we make a new revamped one. Maybe they make a new revamped one. Oh, it's been inactive for like 5 years. So the Mavs beat the Kings. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about this because, well, I have a Bleacher Report stream later today. But, I mean, this was an ass whooping of epic proportions. Do I still want KD on the Mavs? No, not really. Is that Whataburger? No. Coffee. Guys, don't I know it's good, but under no circumstances should you be eating Whataburger before noon. Under no circumstances. That's going to put you on your ass for the rest of the day. You know? And I know it's good, but how good is it? Side of this playoffs, who will perform better, Cade or Ant? I think Ant's going to have a pretty decent postseason. No, their breakfast burger is good. Kobe would be good, but would he transition to the bench when Kai gets back? You need someone who can play but won't necessarily threaten that spot. Also, someone who can play with Kai. Tough find. Yeah, that is tough. I think you could have lineups for Kai and Kobe White are on the court at the same time. And I think Kobe White could come off the bench. I mean, there's reports that Kyrie's going to be back in January. Like, I don't know. I'm not buying into any of that shit. If he is, then great. I'm not doubting him, but that's a tall ask. One, and two, he probably won't be Kyrie. Hopefully he gets there again, you know, but big starting lineup tonight for the Mavs. Did you dig it? Well, I mean, they won by like damn near 30 points. I know that the final score, they ended up winning by 14, but this was a rout the entire time. We were laughing in the stream because the announcers, they were trying their hardest to get fans to stick around because they were like, you know, it's only an 18-point game. They're saying that for like 6 straight minutes. Like, well, they're hanging around. And I'm like, it's an 18-point game. Like, this game is done. It's fun like that because a year ago when I was super locked in, like I would need this team to win and I would be on edge, like super on edge. I would have been like almost everyone else in my chat and be like, dude, they're going to give this up. They're for sure fucking choking this. Last time I was like, dude, this game is done and over with. There is not a chance in hell the Kings come back. Isolated ACL tear without any PCL or MCL or LCL. What about TCL? Involvement has a better prognosis. The January timeline could be true. Well, I hope so. I hope for Kyrie's sake it's true. 10th pick or sweep by OKC? 10th pick. Which I'm not even sure is possible. Could the Mavs at that point even move up to 10? Yeah, it would be like 34. It would be like, not 34, what the fuck? It'd be like 14 moving up to 6 or something. If Heat win, we can get 11. Highest we can be is 11. Really? Wow. So if the Mavs lose and the Heat win, which is a very, very likely scenario, they could get up to 11. 11 gives you about 9% chance of landing a top 4 pick. I mean, if my options are that or get swept in round 1, I'm taking that. Any update on Ja? I haven't seen one, which I'm assuming means he's fine. Getting swept by OKC or drafting a young and up-and-coming star who's slightly biased to pick 11. Well, if he's on the table, yeah. I mean, I'd trade everything for him. personally, and give him a huge contract. I'd give him about $50 million a year. Personally speaking, I would be running to give him $50 million. Running. Discount territory of $50 million. Yeah, but I mean, I know he'd accept $50 million a year. He would accept it for sure. If anyone's out there listening, he would accept $50 million a year. So I think I'd give it to him. Oh, you'd have to beat the Bulls in a coin flip? Well, the Mavs have bad luck with coin flips in the lottery. And the teams that beat them in the coin flip end up having great luck. If you were the Grizzlies, would you do Jaren Jackson Jr. and a pick for Sabonis and Keegan? I can't answer that question because of my stance on Sabonis. I have no idea. What team is going to go after Sabonis this offseason? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like trying to get there. No, if the Grizzlies were to do a Jaren Jackson move, it would be for like a legit creator on the wing. Like that's like a panic for Kevin Durant type of trade. Blazers. Okay, that actually could be somewhat interesting. I can maybe see that. Thunder, no. People are picking SG over Luka in the playoffs, understandably. What's your opinion? I'm not picking over Luka in the playoffs. And let's get into that. Should we start? Should we start with our first round predictions? That's what goes in my head whenever anytime I make predictions. That song plays the entire time. You guys know what I'm talking about? The NFL Network song. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going purely off of vibes for these predictions. I got to be honest with you. I have done some research, and I'm just really going off of vibes and gut feels more than anything. I just, I don't know how much the stats tell us about playoff matchups because it's going to come down to what teams can make the most adjustments and what teams can find the questions that the other team doesn't have the answers for. Because teams will throw out everything that they've done all regular season in a series if they have to. We see it all the time. So sometimes it's just like, it's not even really worth looking at what teams do during the regular season because they'll throw all that shit out the window come playoff time. 2025 NBA first round predictions. So I filled out a bracket, but I might go back and change it. Like us sitting Dinwiddie. Yeah, exactly. Spencer Dinwiddie led the Dallas Mavericks in minutes this year. He didn't even play last night. Kill a kid. Teams like Mavs got to catch people off guard. Yeah, that's very true. Let's start with the 1-8 matchups in either conference. We don't know what they are for sure yet because those games, the final play-in games are tomorrow night, but we've got a fairly good idea. Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference. Cavs versus, it's either going to be Atlanta or Miami. I'm not giving either of those teams a chance in hell. I think Atlanta would probably be clean swept. And I do think Miami's going to be the one to come out of it. I do think Atlanta would probably get swept by the Cavs. If Atlanta had Jalen Johnson healthy, like maybe they're a team that you look at and you're like, oh, that's a bit of a scary team to see in a playoff series, right? Maybe I'll give you a trade game. I do absolutely think Miami would steal a game or two from Cleveland. I wouldn't pick them in a series, but I think they'll muck it up a little bit, right? They'll muck it up. Hero will have a big game similar to what he did last night. No way. I mean, mind you, I'm not saying that they would win the series. I think that they would steal a game or two. That's it. Cleveland in 4, Boston in 4, Indy in 6, Detroit in 7. That's your Eastern Conference. I'm overthinking it. I'm not overthinking shit. I think the Cavs are going to win. I just think Miami could get a game or two. That's it. There's no overthinking in that process. There's no overthinking. Okay? Let me pull up the odds because I am interested to see what the lines on these series are. Anyways, if I'm the Cavs, I want to get out to a hot start here in the playoffs. I do. I want to dominate whoever I play in round 1 just so I can get, this is a team that's had some playoff demons over the last couple of years. I want to leave this series thinking to myself, we just obliterated whoever we just played. We're locked and loaded. Let's fucking go. I don't want to leave this series going, man, that was more of a dogfight than we were hoping for. And now I'm starting to second guess myself a little bit. That's not what you want. Cleveland sweeping them, boys. I'm going Cavs in 5. Cavs in 5. Miami. Because I do have 2 different predictions. Cavs in 4. Atlanta. There's that. Confidence meter. We do like to do this. Confidence meter right now, 99.99999%. Uber confident in this one. And if you guys aren't familiar with what we do, we go back after each game in each series and we change the confidence meter. And we'll adjust the confidence meter over the course of a series. Call them an Uber, it's over. Out west, OKC versus Memphis/Dallas. So we know this. OKC is the best defense in the league. They force turnovers at an incredibly high clip. We've seen this during the playing game a couple nights ago. The Grizzlies offense, they run. They get out in space. They've been running more ball screens and stuff like that, more conventional offense, modern offense since the fire of Taylor Jenkins. But they're still a team that has a very sort of not super conventional offense in today's NBA, right? And I just really struggle to imagine how they're going to muster up points consistently against this Thunder defense. Because the Thunder will drive off closing lanes. The Thunder have incredible perimeter defenders. The Thunder are going to force... how many fucking turnovers is Jaren Jackson Jr. going to have? How many turnovers is Zach Edey going to have when he's getting doubled in the block? Those two, I think, combined, 9 turnovers for Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr.? It might have been 7. But those two combined to have a huge turnover total against the Warriors. The Warriors are good at forcing turnovers too, don't get me wrong. But I just don't think at all the Grizzlies would be competitive in a series against this Thunder team. Maybe I'll give them they went back to Memphis and Ja Morant popped off and the crowd went crazy and there was a fight. Maybe I'll give you one of those. But I'll go OKC in, honestly, 4. Honestly. In 4 against Memphis is kind of what I'm thinking. I just don't... How is Memphis going to score consistently? That's where I'm at in this series. How are they going to score consistently? Memphis going to destroy the Mavs? It's definitely possible. But I think Dallas has a solid as hell chance to win that. Game. I'd pick the Grizzlies, though, to win that game if I had to pick. If I had to choose one, I'd choose them. Mavs in 7, so Luka can go to the finals with ease. That would be funny. So a potential OKC versus Dallas series. I've seen a lot of Mavs fans who are super, this idea still is in their heads hey, man, the Thunder are scared of us. The Thunder aren't scared of anybody. They're not. Okay, you guys can continue to laugh at me for saying that. Look, the reality is they're not scared of anybody. Okay. The Mavs have beat them 3 times without Luka this year, but the Thunder were without both bigs, I think, in 2 of those wins. So I don't really know what you can do with that information necessarily. Now, here's the thing, right? Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this Mavs team entering the playoffs that maybe I hadn't factored into the equation, that maybe you guys hadn't factored into the equation, that we have to factor into the equation, right? PJ Washington against the Oklahoma City Thunder buff. That's a plus 12 to all of his attributes. He turns into a top 20 player in the league. So that's a plus 12 to all of his attributes. Kill a kid postseason buff, where he turns into a top 3 coach. Not in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. Top 3 coach. That's a plus 7 to to everybody on the team's attribute boost. So a +7 attribute boost to everybody on the team. Nico Harrison GM playoff boost. Look, say what you will. A lot of Nico's decisions end up looking better come playoff time. Think PJ Washington. Think Derek Lively. Think, Kyrie Irving was better there. That's a +3 attribute boost to everybody. You have Anthony Davis, lead guy, underdog team versus small market team, round 1 playoff boost. Think back to the Trailblazers series all those years ago. That's +5 to his boost, his attributes. So that's a +5 buff there. And then it does appear as though Brandon Williams is a playoff riser. That's +3 to his attributes. And Klay Thompson versus the Thunder, Game 6 Klay, that's +7 to his attributes boosts. So it starts to become the pathway there is there when you factor in all those attribute boosts, right? So OKC in 2 versus Dallas. I think the Mavs forfeit after game 2. So that's where we're at there. That's where we're at. If they win one of the first 2 games in OKC, I'll be impressed. So here's a question I have to ask you guys, and I want to know your answer. And try to be honest with yourselves, right? Because there's plenty of you in here who are like, still Mavs fans. There's plenty of you in here who are like, fuck the Mavs. Like, I'm rooting for them to lose, whatever the case may be. At what point in a potential Thunder versus Mavs series do you perk up a little bit? Is there a point where you're just like, okay, hold on a second. Would it be like winning game 1? Would it be like losing game 1 by 3? Would it be game 7? So a game 7 where you'd be like, whoa, hold up. 2-1 lead. If we take one of the first 2 games, I already think we can win. Winning 2 games at 80 point. If they win 1 in OKC, I'd be like, okay, hold up. Surely not, right? Surely the Thunder aren't doing this. It would be a double-edged sword for me because I've said this before. You guys might not believe me, but it's true. If my Thunder and my Mavs meet in round 1, I am rooting for the Mavs, right? And I'd be very happy if the 0.00001% chance occurs where the Mavs win the series. I'd be very happy, but at the same time, I'd have a little egg on my face. I'd be a dumbass. I would be an idiot. The Thunder, since the All-Star break, best offense in the NBA. And the 5th best defense. Their defense slipped up a little bit down the stretch. Chet's been struggling a little bit. That does worry me for them because he's a big piece here. He is. But I think J-Dub will be better than he was last postseason. Caruso, I think, is going to see an uptick in minutes throughout this postseason. And now they have the size to not get just absolutely obliterated on the glass. I think Shea is going to have a monster postseason. I really do. I think he's stamping himself. Not that he needs to, because he's probably about to win the MVP, but I think he's stamping himself as like all right, I'm here. Like, fuck what you thought about free throws. Like, I'm really him. I'm really that guy. It's my time. OKC will feel the girth of the Mavs. Dude, basketball is so funny. Fandom is so funny because just yesterday I'm like, 48 more minutes, guys, and it's over. Like, our season's done. We can move on about our lives. Then the Mavs smack the Kings, who I think are pathetic. The baffling Kings. Been saying for this whole season the Kings are horrible. They beat the Kings, and I'm like, hold on a second, man. I'm like, well, hold on now. Like, look, man, size, like this size and defense does win championships, man. He was right. OKC, MTV, KFC, BET, CNN, TNT, Lakers in 5. CNN was a stretch. Sadly has his spirit back. No, I'm telling you guys, I've been feeling great lately. I really have been. I've been very much enjoying this. All right, so there's my 1 seed. I don't think that either of these are close. Now, we're just going to go seed by seed, both conferences. Boston, versus Orlando. The Orlando Magic. Oh. The Orlando Magic, who since the All-Star break have been top 3 in defense. Over the last 15 or so games, they were number 1 in defense. So their defense has been firing on all cylinders. I do think Orlando can maybe get a game. Orlando could beat Boston? No, they can't. I do think Orlando could steal a game, though. Oh, no confidence meter? Right. You're right. My bad. I do think Orlando could steal a game, just a game where their defense is flying around and the Celtics shoot like 21% from 3 or something like that. Just because the sheer volume of threes that the Celtics put up, they don't really need to hit that many to probably outshoot the Miami Heat from 3 because that's how, or the Orlando Magic from 3 because that's how fucking terrible the Magic are at shooting threes and making threes. So I thank so much for the dedication to the Mavs. I'm a loyal to the soil guy. Confidence meter, 100%. Boston in 4. I'm leaning Boston in 5. And here we get into like this. Why are we doing semantics of this whole like, well, it's not Boston in 4. I think it's Boston in 5. Thank you very much. But Orlando, like their 3-point defense, they give up the fewest threes in the league as a team percentage-wise. You know, and obviously nobody shoots more threes than the Boston Celtics. Damn, 50% of the Celtics shots are threes. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. No, I mean, the Magic are horrible offensively. Horrible. Dreadfully bad. So if AD could create a little bit more for himself, he'd be great. Yeah. Orlando in 6. So what is even a scenario in which Orlando wins this series? I'll go Boston in 5. I'll give Orlando a game where they muck it up enough and the Celtics shoot 17% from 3. And maybe Paolo has like a pop-off game. Who do you think the best player in that series is? Boston versus Orlando? Tatum, comfortably. Entire Celtics starting 5 gets injured. Maybe they rest KP. Right? If Boston shoots ass from 3, maybe 4-1. That's kind of what I'm saying. That's maybe why I'm giving them one game. Like a gentleman's sweep situation. Orlando in game 4 at home, like keeps their season going. And that's kind of it. I mean, yeah, even if Jaylen Brown sits the entire series, I think it'd be pretty. Celtics Insider offers worrisome update on Jaylen Brown. The Boston Celtics are gearing up for the upcoming matchup, blah, blah, blah. Brown did return to practice this week, and the Celtics are hopeful his injuries behind him. But within a preview of their series against the Magic, Celtics insider Jay Keane of The Athletic offered a somewhat worrisome update. Brown's injury might limit him in the postseason. He received injections for his knee shortly before the end of the regular season and was on a minutes restriction beginning in mid-March. Though the Celtics have sounded optimistic about his form at practices, he remains their biggest question mark with Game 1 days away. Now, that might change their outlook in the playoffs a little tiny bit if Jaylen Brown really is compromised. But I don't think it changes their outlook in this series very much. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the biggest favorite. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. The Celtics are minus 8,000 to win the series. I honestly think that whatever team the Cavs are playing might end up having a better chance than that. As crazy as that is to say. Minus 8,000. Holy shit. Well, if you really think that the Magic can beat them, you might as well throw like $10 on the Magic. Might as well throw $10 on them. Confidence meter here is sitting at 100%. All right, now we get into maybe the juiciest series of them all. Maybe the biggest coin flip of them all. The Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. The 2-seed Houston Rockets, who are underdogs, betting underdogs, entering this series. Plus 138. Golden State minus 166. Now, to be fair, that is about as neck and neck as it gets. Right? I'm frustrated due to Nico's ego, disrespect for the players, fans, vendors, talk show hosts, and damage done to the Dallas. Yeah, well, we all are. Now, this is an interesting series, obviously. These two teams play, when they did meet up this season, close games, competitive games. They're going to shit talk. The coaches are going to shit talk. We know that, right? Ime Udoka, again, one of my predictions, 2025 predictions was that Ime Udoka would get into a verbal altercation with a player on an opposing team during the playoffs. That feels like a foregone conclusion at this point. Stamp it another slightly biased victory, right? I've thought about this series really ever since that game ended a few nights ago, and just it's been permeating in my brain. Just I think about it and I think about it and I think about it. Oh, man. I really think the Rockets win this series, man. I really think the Rockets win this series. I do. I worry about the size. Like, there's such a stark difference in size and athleticism between these two teams. And I don't know. I'm not like, sometimes I feel a vet team that I think is really good overcomes that shit over the course of a 7-game series. I don't know if I think Golden State is that good where they can overcome that. You know, I mean, the Grizzlies are in a dire state, and they played a good game a couple nights ago. Don't get me wrong, but man, it took what was it, nearly 70 combined points from Steph and Jimmy Butler to get out of there with a win. You know, am I confident I'm going to get a 30-point Jimmy Butler? No, I'm not. I'm really not confident I'm going to get that over the course of 7 games. We've seen Amin Thompson play great defense on Steph Curry. We've seen that. Right? And we know that the Rockets have other guys that they can throw at Steph Curry over the course of a game. We kind of talked about that. How do you guard the Warriors? Well, you need one guy you can shut down Steph. You need 2 or 3 guys who you can kind of cycle in. They've got size on the wing that can disrupt Jimmy Butler. And on top of that, they can go their double big. I mean, we saw Edey got a lot of shit in that game, and I thought it was a little unfair. And I know Edey looks like a deer who just learned how to walk at times. It does look a little goofy. So when he does something bad, it looks really bad, and people make fun of him. But I thought he had a good game in that one. You know? Like, I thought Edey controlled that game. He was a positive. When he was on the floor, the Grizzlies won his minutes. What did he end up with? 17 rebounds, something insane like that. I mean, you're going to have Şengün on the glass. You're going to have Steven Adams on the glass. Those two play together and get like 50% of their offensive rebound chances. Edey sucks, be for real. Yeah, but I mean, you saw, okay, if you want to say Edey sucks, if you think Edey sucks, look, the reality is they won his minutes. If you think he sucks, they won his minutes. They were a +6 in his minutes. He had 7 offensive rebounds, 17 rebounds, 14 points. If you want to say he sucks, Şengün doesn't suck. Şengün doesn't suck. Steven Adams has looked rejuvenated. He doesn't suck. Warriors will be saying amen after losing to the Rockets. Look, if the Rockets had one singular guy who I could look at and be like, yep, end of the game, this guy's going to go get a bucket, I would pick them to win this series and feel so confident about it. I would feel so confident about it. Those double bigs will get stretched out. I mean, the Warriors were closing it. Kuminga's out the rotation, and I'm interested to see how long that holds. If the Warriors lose game 1 because the floor was so fucking congested because Gary Payton was out there and no one was guarding him and no one was really guarding Draymond, and then you brought Looney out there because you had to, because you needed him for rebounding and no one was guarding him. Like, if you get to that point, do you say, all right, Kuminga, we need you out there, dude. You have to get out. You have to get out there. That will be interesting. If they're dead set on Kuminga, you're done. Like, your time as a Warrior is over. We're going to move off of you in the offseason. We don't even want you in the rotation. I mean, I don't know, man. How many minutes did Gary Payton play in that game? 20? I mean, I feel like to accomplish a lot of the stuff you're saying, like, Quentin Post is going to have a big series. You know? To accomplish, like, really stretching out their bigs, Quentin Post is going to have to be big. That's kind of where we're at. But then it's like, I know the game's close. It's a 2-point game with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Who do I feel confident in? I don't really feel all that confident in the Rockets. I feel pretty good about Jimmy. I feel pretty good about Steph. Sometimes it's just that stupid and simple. There's no point in overthinking any of this shit. Sometimes it's that simple. You know that there's probably going to be stretches over the course of a playoff game where the game's close, and more often than not, the team that's been there, the team that has guys who have been there, those teams win. People keep talking about 2-point games, blah, 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 left on the clock. Jesus, gets annoying. Yeah, but it's true, though. I mean, am I wrong? Put yourself in that scenario. Who do I feel good about on the Rockets? Confidence meter's going to be so much lower no matter what. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I do think the Rockets win this series. I really do. I think it's a brutal matchup for the Warriors. Brutal. I would have if I was Golden State, I would have much rather played the Lakers. I would have much rather played the Lakers. I could talk myself into the Warriors beating the Lakers 100%. This Rockets team with their athleticism and their size, man, that's their defense. And they're not going to be, I say all of that late in games. This Rockets team's not going to be fucking scared of anybody. They do have guys who have been there. Fred VanVleet's a champion. Dylan Brooks has been in playoff runs. Like, they have guys who have been there individually. Also, Ime is just a better coach than Kirk. Yeah, and Ime's a great coach. And they're not afraid of shit, right? Like, Ime will make a coaching decision on the fly, and Kerr will too, to be fair. But then, okay, so then my dumb basketball brain, we're really trying to avoid doing stats on this one and just going vibes. How do I really feel about the series? My dumb basketball brain comes in, Houston versus Golden State, Game 7. How do I feel a Game 7 goes realistically? Do I think this young, inexperienced as a group in the playoffs, Houston Rockets team survives Steph is playing 43 minutes, Jimmy's playing 44 minutes, Draymond's playing 42 minutes, Game 7 Warriors team? Does that make sense? Houston would have to win before Game 7? Oh, this is going to be an incredible series, man. I think this series is going to be great. I'm going to go Houston. I'm going to go Houston in 7. Fuck it. Let's do it. Confidence meter is not high. I'm going to go at like a 32%. I'm going to go at 32%. It sounds so dumb. But if Houston was in the playoffs last year and lost round 1, I'd feel very confident about picking them. It's just that stupid. Sometimes it's that fucking stupid. NBA. So that's another thing to be a little bit concerned about is whoever wins this series will get the winner of the Lakers-Timberwolves series, which could be the Lakers. So you have the possibility of Steph Curry versus LeBron in the second round. I heard someone else say this, and it's something to think about. And no matter what happens there, the NBA is guaranteed Steph Curry or LeBron James in the conference finals. So big moments down the stretch, officiating-wise, yeah, that scares me a little bit. All right, you're right. It should be above 51. All right, fine. 51%. Coin flip series. Who the fuck knows? Houston just literally can't beat Golden State. They've had many attempts. Yeah, but I don't think this current Rockets group cares about that. You know? Question slightly, who would you rather play in round 2 if you were the Lakers, an old Warriors team after a 7-game series, or the unexperienced Rockets? That's a really good question. I still think I'd rather play the Rockets. I don't love a Warriors matchup for the Lakers. I really don't. I have to be honest with you. And I don't think the Lakers give a shit, but I think I'd rather play the Rockets from them. Playoff Jimmy is a thing. You're right there. I think that's baked into the equation. All right, now we head out east for our 3-6 matchups. New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. What a story the Pistons have been. What a story Detroit has been so far this season. I mean, and they've been one of the best teams in the league by pretty much every single metric for a while now. I mean, post All-Star break, they're 9th in net rating. 4.9 in net rating. They've been a top 10 offense over that stretch. Interestingly enough, just league average defensively. The Knicks have had a strange season, but they've still won 50 games. They haven't beat any of the top dogs this season, but Detroit, despite the great season they're not one of the top dogs. Cade is out for blood. Cade can go off. So I do think Cade's going to have a great series. I'm really not worried about Cade because the thing with this series is if Cade doesn't have a good series for whatever reason, then you're going to lose anyways. So it doesn't matter. So I'm already baking in Cade having a good series, which I do think he will in this matchup. Cade's played well against the Knicks so far this season. Cade's been phenomenal as a pick and roll ball handler. And yeah, I think that he'll have games where he fucking pops off in this series, right? Because he's just attacking cat and drop, whatever the case may be. I do think he'll be great. I'm not worried about him because, again, I'm already baking him being great into the equation. I'm baking in, all right, Cade scored 38 in game 1 because he was just obliterating Karl Anthony Towns. That drop coverage. We're going to have to switch up how we guard this pick and roll. We're going to put 2 on the ball. We're going to trap. We're going to blitz. Okay. Now, I do think the Knicks have the athletes to sort of fly around, rotate, recover. It'll be up to everyone else on the Pistons. Like, it's going to be a big Pistons series for, like, Tobias Harris. It'll be a big series from him. It'll be a huge series from Malik Beasley hitting threes. Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting threes. Went back and I watched, when I was on the treadmill, a Knicks-Pistons game from earlier this season. And, they put Brunson on Tim Hardaway Jr. or a shooter. The Pistons, they're a very well-coached team. They know what they're doing. They'll have that guy go and set ball screens for Cade. And now you have Brunson sort of involved in the action. They show on Cade and Tim or Malik Beasley pop off and hit a wide open 3, whatever the case may be. What setting was the treadmill on? 5 incline, 3.5 speed. So it'll be big for the shooters on the Pistons. Big moment for those guys. I do think the Knicks just out talent. I mean, I feel like people might be overthinking this series who think crazy shit could happen. Like, the Knicks are just better. They're just a more talented team. That's it, really. They're just a more talented team, man. They've got, maybe even in a somewhat compromised state, the best player in the series in Brunson. They've got Cade. Cade's clearly a top 2 player in the series. If you don't want to say he's number 1, top 2 player in the series. They've got the next 3 best players? All right, even if you want to say Cade is better than Brunson entering the series, fine, whatever. Okay. Then they have what? Brunson's number 2, Cat's number 3, OG's number 4, Mikel's number 5. Detroit definitely winning this series. Cat a playoff dropper. Give me the Pistons in 7. No. I'm going to go Knicks. Knicks. Now, the question is, where do I want to go? I'll go Knicks in 6. I feel pretty good about that. Great season for the Pistons. OG's a big X factor in this series, yeah, because he's going to spend a lot of time on Cade, and he's one of those guys, too. We know what Brunson and Cat are capable of, but if you get good offensive production from OG or Mikel, it's just, that's tough for the Pistons to answer. It's not going 7 games. Detroit in 6. Respect former Mavs legend Tim Hardaway Jr. Hey, what was it? The most threes in a finals quarter ever? We know Tim Hardaway Jr. is not scared of the moment. And I could imagine something similar to that Clippers series from 2021 with Tim, where he has a couple of games where you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, Tim just hit 7 threes? No, but I think the Knicks take care of business here. And Detroit's a really good team. They are. The Knicks are a really good team. I just think they out-talent the Pistons. I mean, that's really it. The better team usually wins in the NBA playoffs, and I just think the Knicks are better. Now, Detroit will be very physical. We know that. This is like the Knicks are going to come out of this series hurting, probably. Confidence meter. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'll go 72%. Gonna be a battle. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun series, man. And hey, Pistons lose in round 1 to the Knicks in 6. Hell of a season. Oh, the defensive woes for the Knicks are real. I mean, that's why the Knicks aren't realistic title contenders at all. Pat McAfee bomb? No thanks. That's why the Knicks aren't contenders in any real serious way. How many people does Isaiah Stewart punch in this series? Well, Isaiah Stewart's going to be pretty big in this series as well. Like Josh Hart. Josh Hart is massive in this series. Josh Hart hits threes. There's no chance the Pistons win. No chance. None at all. If Josh Hart isn't hitting threes and they're putting Dern on him and Dern's just roaming around in the paint and they got to take Josh Hart, like that's when you start to be like, okay, here's a pathway for the Pistons to win this series. It's gonna be a fun series, and I really am looking forward to it. I mean, that's just a fun matchup, right? Between like historic NBA franchises. Knicks, Pistons. Yeah, and Isaiah Stewart is going to be very important for. Like, I know Isaiah Stewart gets talked about like, oh man, the bad boy Pistons. This guy's kind of unhinged at times, but he's a legitimately very good basketball player. Legitimately a very good basketball player. So he needs to stay on the floor. He can't be doing any dumb shit where he's like suspended or kicked out of a game because he punched somebody. Yes, Beef Stew is legitimately great defensive player. And he'll be big in this series. Getting put on Cat. No, he's a very good role player. I'd love to see what the Knicks average against the top 3 teams they've never beat. That's a good precursor to how they'll look in the playoffs. I mean, they haven't beat any of those teams this year. Pistons 3-1 season series, don't count them out. Nah, I mean, I really don't care about the season series stuff. So much changes over the course of a season that I don't look at any of that stuff at all. Remember last year when the Suns beat the Timberwolves twice? Like in the last 2 weeks of the season? That tricked me, bro. I picked the Suns to win that fucking series like a dumbass. Do you factor in Summer League results? That's actually the most important one because Summer League is such a condensed setting that you need to win every game. That's more important of a precursor to me, personally. So I'm looking forward to the series. Now the 3-6. The 3-6 out west. Lakers. Timberwolves. Now I've thought about this series quite a bit. When I first saw it, I was like, Lakers are going to dominate this series. And I've thought about it more. And I do think this series is going to be close. I think this is probably closer to a coin flip series than people might want to convince themselves. And the odds have come down dramatically. I mean, the betting odds, this is getting closer and closer to just a toss-up series. Lakers in 6. So it kind of goes back to the Houston Golden State thing. I know people don't like it and people are annoyed about it in the chat, but it's just the truth where it's like, all right, tie game down the stretch. How do we feel? This is exactly how the series is. And I don't like doing the Mavs versus the Timberwolves because the Lakers are a much different team than last year's Mavs team. But having Luka, it's like, okay, late down the stretch, how do we feel about this team? How do we feel about this team? Well, I'm going to take Luka Doncic over Minnesota, right? A Timberwolves team that was bottom 7 in clutch rating all season long. post All-Star break, -5 net rating in the clutch for Minnesota. Now, to be fair, interestingly enough, the Lakers weren't necessarily great in the clutch post-Luka trade. But look, I mean, Anthony Edwards might have a monstrous series here. He might have a monster series. Smoked bad games against bad teams, true. How am I a hater for saying Anthony Edwards might have a monster series? How does that make me a hater of who? Who am I hating? Who the fuck am I hating in that series? Who am I hating in that statement? They'll double him. They'll send a bunch of stuff at Anthony. And it's up to Anthony Edwards to not turn the ball over 7 times in a game, right? That's the big one for Anthony Edwards. Don't turn the ball over 7 times. Yeah, that's right. The Lakers don't have a guy that you feel good throwing at Anthony Edwards, right? He's too quick. He's too fast. They don't have the quick twitch defensive athletes to keep up. And on top of that, they don't have the rim protection to sort of dissuade Anthony Edwards from driving. Now, they do have positional size, so they can clog up the driving lanes and stuff like that. NBA Central, dude, I'm in the middle of something. What is NBA Central saying? ESPN said Luka has a better supporting cast this year versus the Wolves. So I feel like their best asset is hoping Ant doesn't pop off, but Lakers in 6. Go look. Dude, is this worth derailing everything that I'm doing right now? If it's about the Luka trade, I don't fucking care. Adam Silver says he didn't have any role in the Luka trade. Okay. Wow. No, I'm not going to ban him. I like Javier. All right, so back to the series. The big question that you ultimately have is who's Mike Conley guarding over the course of the series? Because you got 3 great perimeter players for the Lakers. We know that they all play on the court at the same time. They'll stagger the minutes, but it's the playoffs. Rotations shorten. Starters play more. Those 3 will be on the court more together. Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka, obviously. Well, we know they'll probably put Jaden McDaniels on Luka. You might even see Ant on Luka a few times. But Jaden McDaniels on Luka. And we know Luka dominates Jaden McDaniels. But that's neither here nor there. Julius Randle probably on LeBron. And they'll probably put Ant on Austin Reeves, if I had to guess. So that means who is Mike Conley guarding? Rui? So does that mean this is going to be a very big series for Rui? Like, if Rui's hitting shots and posting up Mike Conley, dictates the matchup, Mike Conley's minutes shorten. I don't like that very much for the Timberwolves. DiVincenzo will play more, and that might end up being a good thing for the Timberwolves. So, basically, what we're getting at is one of the biggest players of the series is going to be Mike Conley / Dante DiVincenzo, which, makes sense. And another one of the big players is going to be Rui Hachimura. That's what these playoff series boil down to a lot of the times. Matchups and players on which player on the team is going to take advantage of his matchup the most. And this is why I like the Thunder series, Mavs Thunder series last year. You think back to that. Like, obviously you have your star players in the series, but the series was won because PJ Washington dominated his matchup. And it shifted everything. Right, the X factors. Conley may be able to guard JJ Redick. No, Conley's the problem. Conley's a fine defender. He's just older. He's a little bit slower, and he's small. That's the problem. He's small. You don't want Mike Conley guarding Reeves for huge chunks of time. You don't want him guarding Luka or LeBron. So you got to put him somewhere else. And the Lakers don't have like a small guy to hide him out on. No, playoff Dante, absolutely. I'm pretty excited at the idea of Dante DiVincenzo hitting like 6 or 7 threes in a game. I think this series is going to be. This series is really close to a coin toss, in my opinion. You do have the playoff Randall thing. Yes, that's hanging over this. That's looming over this team like a dark rain cloud. The playoff Randall situation. You've got the Gobert. We already know what's going to happen. The Lakers are going to spam high screens for Luka, and Luka's going to try and put Gobert in the torture chamber. We know that. People keep comparing like this Timberwolves series to the Mavs series, and it's just the Lakers don't have Derek Lively. The Lakers don't have Daniel Gafford. They don't have those guys. Those guys are not existing on this team, and it changes the dynamic. I get so annoyed when this shit's like, dude, Jackson Hayes is not that fucking guy, man. Please, God, makes me so angry. It makes me so upset. Jackson Hayes. The Jackson Hayes slander. Yeah, I'll slander Jackson Hayes. I don't give a shit. See, now hate. I am hating. I am. Yes, it pisses me off. Lakers going to cook them with small ball. Yeah, I'm very interested in the small ball lineup that the Lakers could deploy. Honestly, though, Minnesota with like Naz Reid, it's a pretty good lineup, too, and a pretty good answer. Oh, man, I think this is going to be a great series. I am going to pick the Lakers, though, because I'm going to put trust in Luka and LeBron. And, again, it's a stupid way to look at things, but a lot of times you look at it like this, you'll be right more often than not. And that is the game's close down the stretch. Who do I have more faith in? I have more faith in Luka. Who do I think will be the best player at the end of the series? When we look back, like, who's the best player in the series? I think it'll be Luka. Even though I do think Anthony Edwards can have a great series. And, yeah, here's something you got to factor in, and I hate to do it, but you have to do it. We end the game. It's a pivotal game 5. The series is tied 2-2, game 5 in LA. The game ends. The big outcry on Twitter is, I cannot believe the refs in this game. The refs were terrible. This league is rigged. Who do we think we're saying that about? Who do we think we're saying that about? Let me tell you. We ain't saying that about Minnesota. Okay. That's just the truth. We're not sitting here saying, man, the league rigged that for the Timberwolves. That's not going to be happening, okay? One of these series will be dictated by an injury, sadly. I think maybe the series. That is how it always goes. I mean, we already have that. Like, the other three are the next series we're going to get into, the 4-5. I mean, Bucks Pacers is going to be dictated by that, more likely than not. And also, so the Lakers, they've kind of been in this weird spot for the last few years where they're good. They're realistically not like a legit title contender, and their crowds are always awesome. This year's different. The energy in that building is going to be fucking nuts. Like, it just is. Mini is built literally to only beat Denver. I think they have, they got pieces. I do worry because it's Julius Randle, who's been so good for them lately. Ever since Julius Randle came back from injury, he's been so good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And, yeah, if I knew I was going to get that Julius Randle, that changes things for them quite a bit. Honestly, they're a team that could go on a run. Like, forget just winning this series. They're a team that could go on a legitimate run in this postseason. But how can we sleep on the fact that he's been historically one of the worst playoff performers we've seen in the game? Randall doesn't have to be the main guy for once. So, yeah, but he's still going to be huge for them. I mean, his playmaking, especially if Conley is like compromised to the point where they have to sit Conley for big stretches because defensively he's just getting worked. His playmaking is going to be massive for them. Massive. Maxey coming back in the second round. True, man. Don't forget playoff Maxey's waiting in the shadows. I'm going to go Lakers in 7. That's how close I do think this is. Lakers in 7. My confidence meter is at about a 63. 63%. Randall has worse playoff splits than dudes that fought in World War II. Yeah, he does. 77 confidence. Well, I get why you guys want me to say that, but I don't feel that way. So, what's 77 minus 23? 54. 7 is insane. You guys are hilarious, man. You guys are upset that I said the Lakers will win this series in 7 games. I think this series is close. I mean, the Vegas thinks so too. This is like close to a toss-up series, odds-wise. Bron not losing, no more championship opportunities. So we'll see. We change these confidence meters after each game. If Luka hits the first step back, if Luka first play of the game, high screen, Rudy Gobert switches on, Luka hits a step back 3 and he's yelling at him, I'm changing it to Lakers in 4, confidence meter 99.9%. Vegas thought the Mavs would lose every series last year. True. I think this is closer than people are saying, honestly. Minnesota Reddit told fans to stop talking trash to Luka. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Fucking really funny. Really funny post. All right. 4 or 5 matchups in each conference. Both of these are great, in my opinion. Both of these are tremendous. Out east, we have Indiana versus Milwaukee. Obviously, we just said that one of these series is going to be dictated by injuries, because that's always how it goes. Do it for the Lakers' downfalls and Mavs fan? No, I don't. Indiana, Milwaukee. So this one, we know Dame's not going to be ready to start this series. They sound like they're somewhat hopeful that he could be at some point. I would just venture to guess Dame doesn't play in this series at all, which changes things quite a bit. Now, the best way I've heard this series described is Milwaukee has far and away the best player in the series, but Indiana has far and away the better team. And that is the absolute best way that you can describe this, right? Because Giannis has been playing at such a fucking unreal level. I mean, I do feel like we kind of take Giannis for granted. And I think part of it is the fact that he's kind of, I don't want to say wasting away on these Bucks teams, but he's just kind of been on these Bucks teams that we don't feel are that competitive. But since the All-Star break, Giannis is 28 points per game, 11 rebounds, 7.5 assists per game. I think if we were even to shrink that sample size, last 15 games, Giannis is 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Just been playing out of his mind. I mean, point Giannis, unstoppable. And yeah, the Pacers don't really have a guy who can stop Giannis. Nobody can stop Giannis. And yeah, don't forget Giannis was hurt the last 2 playoffs when the Bucks lost in round 1. Cedric says it, and this is it. Kevin Porter Jr. will be like the X factor in this series for the Bucks, and how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? I agree. I love Giannis as a point guard. His playmaking has improved so much over his career. Have you seen the Minecraft movie? No. Sham's bomb, is it an actual bomb? Wait, hold on a second. What the fuck? This is incredibly strange that this just happened. No, I'm not getting debated. Amazing. Milwaukee's Damian Lillard has been cleared of his deep vein thrombosis and is no longer on blood-thinning medication, sources tell ESPN. Lillard is out game 1 Saturday against Indiana and will have a period of time to resume contact workouts and ramp up for return. What is that timing? Sham's watching the stream? What? Well, that changes things a little bit. So that does sound as though Dame will play in the series. Won't be early in the series, but will play in the series. that does change some stuff. But it'll be Damian Lillard, who hasn't played in a while, coming back, potentially down 2-0, something along those lines. But yeah, Bucks got to try and sneak one out early in the series. They got to try and sneak one out early in the series. That'll be, I mean, that goes without being said, but that'll be huge. And if the Bucks steal one in Indiana, yeah, that I feel like they'll probably end up winning the series. No Dame, Bucks in 7, with Dame, Pacers in 6. Wow, Jesus. Okay. That's bold. That's a bold proclamation. I mean, I think even with Dame, my thing is this Pacers team doesn't defend at a nearly good enough level. You know, that's just it. I feel like the Pacers, who aren't as fast as they've been in years past, they still play at a high pace. They still like to play fast. This Bucks team is just old and slow a lot of the times. Carlisle is definitely better than Doc, absolutely. 3 straight first-round exits is ridiculous. They have to win. I think there's a sleeper part of this series. Again, this is just going vibes. A sleeper part of this series, and this happens. There's always at least one team a year where this happens to, where it gets to game 5, game 6. The team is down. They're looking at their situation like, man, this is tough. And they sort of roll over. Just like, man, it's over. Like, it's over for us. The Bucks are a team I could see that happening to. They just are. Darvin Ham going to sink the ship for Milwaukee. So I mentioned I'm trying not to do like a lot of stats here. We're just going vibes. What does the Bucks transition defense look like? Bottom half of the league? So that's actually better than I was expecting. What about since like March 1st? March 1st, 1970. No thanks. That's not what I want. 3 conference finalists might be out in round 1 this year. Well, the way the matchups are, you know. Oh, are you saying 3 conference finalists from last year? Man, this is going to be a fun-ass series. Like, I'm thinking about it right now. We know these teams hate each other, right? So that's added. That adds to the fun of this series. But they're pretty evenly matched up. Right? Yeah, I mean, Ryan Rollins is going to be a big factor in this series, and Ryan Rollins really isn't bad, but he's going to be a big factor in this series. Milwaukee's transition defense has been god awful. Interesting. Okay, it's been bad, but off of live rebounds, which I feel like is where the Pacers really like to go, they've been pretty good. What do we take away from that? KPJ is going to surprise a lot of people. Yeah, he's a big player in the series. Fuck, I actually have no idea. I thought I felt pretty good. Oh wow, this you can't bet on this series anymore. I thought I felt pretty good about this. Both defenses are bad. Well, Indiana's been a top 10 defense for like a big chunk of the season now. And I kind of think that's where I'm going to ultimately end up. Indiana's been, by pretty much every single metric, like a top 7 team in the league over the last few months. Yeah, that's it. The Pacers have been playing at an incredibly high level for months now. And sometimes you just got to believe teams and they tell you who they are. I'm going to go Indiana. And just double checking to make sure Indiana's the 4 seed, correct? Okay, yes. So there will be a game for 7 in Indiana. That's about. Yeah, I think, Indiana and 7. Now I'm starting to think game 7. Do I trust Indiana against Giannis in a game 7? Giannis completely and totally take over the game and win it. See, that's where you start. When you start to get to game sevens, that's where you have to start thinking. Anything can happen in a game 7, but ultimately it's like, do I think Giannis will let his team lose in a game 7? I'm not so sure. It makes me want to go Indiana in 6. I'm just going to go Indiana in 7. My confidence meter is low. I'll go 53%. Man, there's some great first round. I am so fucking pumped. These are some great first round matchups, man. And now we've got, what I think is the best series of them all. Clippers, Denver Nuggets, 4-5. This series is chef's kiss. I don't know the last time I've seen a series betting-wise this close. Nuggets are plus 100, Clippers minus 118. That is just as close to a coin flip as you'll get. 50-50. So I actually feel, it's funny because Indiana, Milwaukee, I don't know. I still really don't feel confident about what I did. I'm actually going to change my confidence meter to 50.5 on that. The Rockets, Warriors, I still don't really feel all that confident about. I actually have somewhat strong opinions on this series. I think the Clippers are going to win this series, and I feel decently good about it because it's kind of what I was saying about Indiana versus Milwaukee, where Indiana's just been a better team for months now, and at some point, you just got to factor that in. Like, the Clippers, for the past few months, have been so much better than the Nuggets. So much better than the Nuggets that, like, I sort of feel like, what are we even talking about? You know? We're talking about a team that's been one of the best teams in the entire league for months now, in the Clippers, versus a team that's just kind of been stuck in the mud, rudderless, fired their coach, and yeah, they've played well since then in the few games that they did play. They had a great final game of the season against Houston, who was trying. Yes, all of that is true, and yes, there's people who swear. There are people who swear by David Adelman that he is like legit a good coach. I mean, the only reason we're even considering this series potential for being great is the fact that, yes, Jokic is on the Nuggets. But there's data out there. The eye test sort of backs it up. Zubats does a pretty solid job on Nikola Jokic. Now, I think over the course of a 7-game series, Jokic will figure that out. The one thing that I can't, the answer, I said this earlier, but it's really going to boil down to what team has more questions that the other team can't answer. The big question for the Clippers, for Denver in this series is like, how are we going to guard all of these Clippers perimeter players? And I don't think there's an answer. I don't think that there's an answer there. You know? Kawhi's playing at an unbelievable level. Unbelievable. I don't think there's really anybody on the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon will try, who can guard him. Why do I say that? Because I don't think when Kawhi's playing like this, and I've seen it firsthand, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. When Kawhi gets into this mode, nobody guards him. Like nobody guards him, right? But then you have Harden, then you have Norm Powell. I feel like we'll get a big bogey game, even though I know he hasn't been great. But you have those guys, the perimeter guys. If we already are counting Aaron Gordon's going to guard those guys, who's guarding Aaron Gordon's going to guard Kawhi? Who's like guarding those guys? You know? I don't feel good about any Denver player guarding those guys. None. And on the flip side, for the Clippers, I've got Chris, Kendrick, Nunn, Dunn. Who's been one of the better perimeter defenders in the league this season. Who I feel like I could put on Jamal Murray, and I feel good about that. Bubble Jamar is Denver's only choice. Yeah, that's really, they need Jamal Murray to have a huge series. A huge series. Ah, man. That's just, I think Kawhi, I'm just trying to talk myself into a way the Clippers lose the series. And the way I think it would happen is Kawhi's hurt in game 3 or some shit. Nobody wants to say it, but Derek Jones Jr., right. I'm talking about you have these athletic perimeter defenders on the Clippers who can take out the Jamal Murrays of the world. We know nobody's going to take out Jokic. And then you've got Zubats, pick and roll Harden Zubats with Jokic, who incredible offensive season, has been really bad defensively. I don't know, man. Ben Simmons, that's right, Ben Simmons. Really, I think it's just like if you came back a few weeks from now and said Kawhi Leonard is healthy for this whole series, I feel so confident the Clippers win this. But yeah, it is like it's hard to bet against Jokic. But damn, man, the Clippers just look so good. I'm gonna go Clippers. Who's the higher seed here? I'm going to go Clippers in 6. They win it at home. And we don't even know what is the wall going to look like in a playoff setting. We don't even know yet. We don't even know what the wall's going to look like. Clippers in 6. Confidence meter. I feel pretty good about this one, honestly. I'll go 78%. So here's our predictions for the first round. Man, I think this is going to be an incredible first round. I feel like this is a quick series either way, 5-game series. So we've definitely overestimated how long these series will go, right? Multiple games. I have 3 game 7s in the first round. That's almost certainly not going to happen. So the 1 seed matchups, Cavs versus Atlanta versus Miami. I think Miami can maybe just muck up the series enough to get 1 game. I don't think Atlanta would win one. Feels uber confident about that. OKC versus whoever they play. I think they would sweep both of these teams, if I'm being honest with you. I feel pretty confident about that. Boston, Orlando. I think Orlando maybe gets 1, right? Little gentleman sweep action. Feel very confident about that. Houston, Golden State is maybe the one. The more I think about the series, the more I think Houston has all of the pieces to win a series. It's just the only thing that's preventing me from really feeling good about it is the fact that they're an inexperienced team. It's not really fair to them. We didn't mention Harden. Well, because what's there to say about Harden in that series? You know, this Clippers-Denver series, I have Clippers in 6. What's there to say about Harden in that series? You know, we understand the Harden playoff woes, but he has looked great lately, and it's a different environment for him. It's a different environment for him. And what I think for Harden that makes me feel good is he hasn't really been that efficient of a scorer all year, and he's still impacted the game. Still impacted the game massively. I think these are some great first-round matchups. Yeah, and I think this has, again, if we're just doing vibes, close your eyes. What do you imagine? Houston Golden State and Amen Thompson, the series ends, and the NBA casual fan, the national audience, the global audience goes, who the fuck's Amen Thompson? Like, what was that? What did I just see? So I've got Houston in 7. Please lay off the Inglaze? No. Knicks, Detroit, I feel good about this one. I think the Knicks they're the better team. They're the better team. That's it. Lakers versus Minnesota. Lakers in 7. I think this series feels closer to me than a lot of people are saying. But I still feel good that the Lakers will win it. But I think it'll be... I'm a little bit shocked I'm taking Houston too, but I don't love that for Golden State. I do not love them drawing them. Like, that feels like a bad sequence of events for Golden State to choke some games in the final week of the season, and now all of a sudden, instead of playing the Lakers in round one, who you match up pretty well against, you're going up against the Rockets, who I do not think you match up well against. Which playoff team do you think Air Bud would fit best on to guarantee them a championship? I like Air Bud's role on a team like Denver. They really could use an Air Bud. So you put Air Bud next to Jokic, I think that team goes a long way. My cat has scratched my computer. No idea where my cat is. I miss him. I miss him so much. I haven't seen him in a couple hours. God, I miss him. Feel good about my Lakers pick. Feel pretty good about it, but I think this series will be close. Indiana, this series is a toss-up for me. I feel like it shouldn't be because, again, Indiana's just been a better team for months now, and sometimes you don't even overthink it. Indiana's been a better team for months now. They've been a much better defense. I think people would be surprised as to how good Indiana's defense has been. But Giannis has been playing at such a high level. It's hard to discount him, and it does sound like Dame will come back at some point. And then Clippers, Denver. I feel really good about the Clippers winning. I mean, it goes back to this Indiana one. Like, the Clippers have just been such a better team for months now. God, if things go according to plan here, Clippers stay healthy and they get out round one and they go up against the Thunder in the second round, that series would be interesting to me. I think this Clippers team can win the finals, straight up. You should be in the games this weekend? Oh, hell yeah. We'll be live all day on Saturday. What does the schedule look like on Saturday? I haven't really looked at it. Milwaukee, Indiana, first game. Oh, wow. They've got, I thought LA Denver would maybe be a later one. LA Denver, 2:30. Shit. Pistons, Knicks at 5, and then they close out the day with Minnesota Lakers. Ooh. Now, Sunday, I probably won't stream at all just because I have plans. Now, if the Mavs end up making the playoffs, maybe I'll have to rethink some of these plans. I'm not sure. But I might even just miss game one because, it's Easter Sunday. I've got family stuff. But there probably won't be any streams on Sunday, which is fine because those are all, in my opinion, the poopier matchups besides Golden State Houston, which is at 8:30. Dude, I'm so pumped for this, man. Thunder fan here that does not want to deal with Kawhi for a series. Yeah, that one would be interesting, man. Oh my God, we spent an hour rambling about those. I thought I no joke thought that'd be a 20-minute segment. An hour? Does your family do Easter egg hunts? Hey man, I'm 29 years old. No. Maybe if my nieces and nephews lived here, maybe, but no, they don't. A team with a late round pick needs to get Andrew Nembhard's little brother. He will step in and play immediately like Andrew and his best pure passing point guard in the draft. Yeah, Easter eggs aren't for unks. That's true. Which again, I am a literal unk. I'm a literal uncle. Oh man, cannot wait to be done with these shitty ass pods. Ugh. Damn. Yeah, for real. Nembhard's agent of the stream. Guys, you got to draft Andrew Nembhard's brother. Hey, I'm not a GM. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Tomorrow on the show, we'll be doing our awards for the season. That's that. Also, I'll be live here in a few hours on Bleacher Report to talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Dude, I'm pumped, man. I'm feeling good. I really am, man. I needed this. I needed a rejuvenation. I've been loving streaming. Been loving it over the past few days. So much content. And that's what my focus is on. I'm planning like a big video, but other than that, like we're just going to do streaming and have fun doing that. And then when the videos happen, the videos happen. Missed a stream yesterday. What was the big news? Oh, the big news yesterday was that I'm simulcasting my playback streams on this channel. That was the big news. So if you missed it yesterday, you need to be a member to go back and watch the VODs, but you can go back and watch the VODs. Which, by the way, guys, VODs means video on demand. You can go back and watch the VODs, which, again, guys, means video on demand. See here. Boom. Playlists. 2025 NBA playoff streams. You can click it. Boom. You can watch them.
Horror.
Right. And this includes our halftime.
Hot.
Our halftime sort of GeoGuessr runs. And this is what it looks like.
4-point swing.
I mean, that was such a late whistle. This is what it looks like on the YouTube side. Editor cooked on the Clips channel. That's me. That is me. And then, yeah, on the Clips channel, over here on Slightly Biased Clips, we are posting these. I'm going to try to post these every night.
Amazon offers hourly employees free skills training programs.
Guys, I gotta watch the full. I gotta watch the ads in full on my own channel.
More for less and cash in on big.
And then you gotta do this too. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. Click on it. Boom. They see that. Oh my God, this guy clicked on the ad while watching on this channel. This channel produces high quality leads. We need to be paying him a lot of money. Will you guys watch this when I upload it? I mean, that's all I ask. Me and the play, to be fair. Boom. Right. This is from a couple nights ago. The Clips channel's doing great. I mean, look at these numbers. Holy shit. They say they've never seen numbers like this. And here's the tip, and it's won by the Dallas Mavericks. Najee Marshall brings the ball up the floor. Unlimited money glitch. Yeah. Absolutely. See, meet Slavic woman, 40 plus. I'm not clicking on that. But you guys get the gist. Meet Slavic woman. Oh, yeah, like the video. Duh. Great video, dude. Just sent it to my Mima. There you go. There you have it. All right, folks, so we'll be live tomorrow morning. Be live on Bleacher Report later, and then obviously we'll be live on Playback as well as here. I've got my incredibly talented, uber talented graphics guy, Jacob's Designs. So good. So good. He's so great. Working on a thumbnail template for me. Also got hats coming soon, but this has been a process. The hats have been a process. That's a bit of process. The hats meme is still going. It's I'm a little bit worried about the hats. I'm having like second thoughts. Can I ask you guys and you guys be honest with me? Those ads are algorithm based. Yeah, I know it's It's funny because I don't like really use this. I don't use this computer really at all outside of streaming. So it's probably because I've searched like Luca or something. So do you guys think this hat would sell well? I do. I think it would. I think it's funny. And this is just a mock-up, right? Obviously, it doesn't fucking look like this, but come on, focus up. Like, I think that's pretty funny. But the thing is like the margin, the profit margin is pretty slim, so I need to sell a lot of them. And that's where I'm starting to get second thoughts. Well, I asked around. Like, I think I could sell 100 of those pretty easily, right? I think 100 of those could go pretty easily. What's the price point? I'm thinking 35. I mean, I was looking around, and that's what hats go for, 35. Thinking about it. We're in late stage negotiation here. Late stage negotiations. And the negotiations are getting ugly. It's the art of the deal. So if you sell $3,500 in hats, what's your profit? The hats are $18 each. I have to warehouse them. I'm giving a cut to the guy who designed it, and a very friendly cut to the guy who designed it. And I got to worry about buying all of the shit. I had to pay a fee just for them to do it. You know, like, but no, I did ask around. I asked around. I was like, this isn't going to be like stolen valor or anything, is it? I was like, this isn't going to be like, people aren't going to be like up in arms about this shit, right? And I got no, you're good. Because, you know, that's it, man. I don't want to disrespect our veterans. They fought in very important wars over the last 20 years. Really over the last 60 years. You know, I'm a big fan of what they did in Korea. So I can't, like, I don't want to piss anyone off. I'm a big fan of what they did in Afghanistan. You might sell more than 100. You are underestimating your reach. You say that. I thought the Unblocked Slightly shirts would like be sold out in 2 hours. It took me like 2 weeks. Some of you guys talk a big game, I think. I was like, yeah, I would buy it. Scared money don't make money. But you know what they also say? Slow money's just as bad as making no money. Which isn't true. I mean, don't be too sensitive. You can't prevent some people misinterpreting shit. And that's also true. I was thinking that. I was thinking that too, Zuj. Is like the Unblocked Slightly was a very niche shirt. The hat is more so like I could run an Instagram ad for the hat and it would probably do well. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna get 200. That's risky. $200's a little bit of a risky endeavor. Yeah, I'm gonna need at least 10,000. They're like, what? Really? You want us to print 10,000 hats? No, I don't actually want that. Wait, you want us to 10,000 hats, sir? No. I was kidding. $10,000? All right, that'll be $160,000. No, that was a joke. What would the Mavs upsetting the Thunder do to the hat sales? Quintuple them. Quintuple it. You could set up a stand outside American Airlines Center in Game 4 of the OKC series before they sweep us. Could. If the Mavs win a game against the Thunder, slightly cuts his hair. Fuck no. No, I've already said if the Mavs make the finals somehow this year, I will shave my head straight up. And I said that before everything went to shit. I said that before everything went to shit. All right. I need to head out. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Thank you guys for coming out. It was a fun stream. Thank you guys. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Thursday morning anywhere in the world. Decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, you never have to do that, but host after miss, it makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be live on Bleach Report today, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be live on tomorrow morning here, playback.tv for slightly early, and then tomorrow night, playback.tv/slightly biased, as well as here for the Mavs Grizzlies game. I won't stream the Hawks Heat because truthfully, I don't really care. And then we'll be live all day on Saturday. How about that? Love you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.